Hello guys, welcome to Clarity for Sure, and I welcome you all to today's session where we will be discussing about plantation crops and post-harvest related questions. Okay, so these questions will be paragraph related, and in this session I'll show you how to answer the questions. Okay, even if you do not know the answer. So, the first passage it says about that the Nut and Dried Fruit Council of India, they've launched a major initiative, okay, and that is to boost the domestic production of nuts and dried fruits by importing cashew seedlings from other countries. So, roughly, you can see from here that it is talking about cashew production, right? Even in the last line, if you see, cashew consumption stands at 4 lakh tons, and yeah, so in this way, you can just scan the paragraph once. Okay, once you've scanned the paragraph, then move to the questions. So, what does the first question say? That in this context, identify the most favorable climatic condition required for cashew cultivation. All right. So, what does the first option says? That cashew is a tropical crop growing with an average in regions where there is average temperature of 15 to 30 degrees centigrade. Then option number B says that cashew is a subtropical crop sensitive to rainfall above 300 millimeters. Option number C says that tropical crop and it prefers dry weather for fruiting. Then option number D says that it can be grown in elevation above 1000 meters above mean sea level in coastal regions, or option number E, none of the above. So which is the correct answer? Now let us see the options one by one. So first option says that cashew is a tropical crop and it grows where there is an average temperature 15 to 30 degrees centigrade. So this seems to be the correct answer. And yes, option number A is the correct answer. Now, why option number A is the correct answer and not the other options? Why, let's just discuss here. You see, option number B is given that it is a subtropical crop. Cashew is a tropical crop. Okay, essentially a tropical crop. So it is wrong. And also, it is given that sensitive to rainfall above 300 millimeters. No, cashew requires optimum amount of rainfall for proper fruit set. So accordingly, this becomes wrong, isn't it? Because cashew, it is given in option number C. You say cashew is a tropical crop. This part is correct, but it prefers dry weather for fruiting. No, absolutely wrong because it requires optimum amount of moisture for fruiting. In dry conditions, fruit drop, flower drop occurs. Then, if you see the option number D, cashew can be grown in elevation above 1000 meters above mean sea level in coastal regions. Yes, it can be grown in coastal regions, but it cannot be grown in elevations above 1000. Okay, optimum elevation is up to 600 or maximum up to 1000, not above 1000. Okay, so that is why these options are wrong, and option number A is the correct answer. Okay, option number A is the correct answer. Let's move to the next question then. Nuts are held in wire trays and allowed to pass through the bath heated CNSL. CNSL is cashew nut shell liquid. Temperature kept at 190 degrees centigrade, and it takes 1 to 3 minutes while passing through the CNSL. Nuts are ruptured and then releases the shell liquid. Then the nuts are removed and kept for cooling. In this process, 50% CNSL is recovered. This method helps in uniform roasting. Identify the method of roasting described here. So you will have to identify the roasting method. Okay, you know that roasting is a post-harvest technology associated with cashew, right? So we'll have to identify the roasting method. Now, this question is a bit technical in nature, right? This question is a bit technical in nature, but I'll just show you how you can eliminate from the options. Okay, the answers are there only. So, what are the options? You see, dry roasting, drum method, oil bath, open pen method, CNSL. Now, first of all, let's go through the question. Nuts are held in wire trays allowed to pass through bath. Okay, if it is bath, that means this bath is either a liquid or you can say water, isn't it? So obviously it's not dry roasting, isn't it? Since we are putting the cashews in or the nuts in a bath, so that means obviously it's not dry roasting. Next is CNSL extraction method. Option number C is CNSL extraction method, right? Option number E is given as CNSL extraction method. So what you will see, this method and the question itself, it is given that it is the roasting method and not CNSL extraction method, right? So option E also we have got. Now we're left out with B, C, and D. Now, if you see option number B is a drum method. Nowhere in this question there is the mention of drum or something related to a container kind of thing, right? So You can easily eliminate this. Now we are left out with option number C and D, open pen method. Again, here also there is nowhere option, there is no sort of words or nothing is there related to a pen or open condition, isn't it? Rather, it is given it's in a bath. It's not a pen. Bath you cannot have in open thing, isn't it? There will be a container. So even open pen method we can eliminate. So we are left out with option number C. So from our prediction, we can say that oil bath should be the correct answer. Again, if you see CNSL, CNSL is sort of an oil only, isn't it? And the bath is also here. So it matches. So that is why option number C is the correct answer. Okay, option number C is the correct answer. So sometimes, even though you get a technical question in NABARD, you should not be frightened. Keep your head cool and try to answer the question in this way. Okay, right. Nowadays, NABARD is asking technical questions, so it shouldn't be a surprise in main for you. That's why we have kept a question in this way. Okay, so I have told you how easily you can eliminate from the option. Now let's come to question number 3 then. Thin testa of reddish brown color given bitter taste to the nut, hence needs to be removed, right? So it is usually removed manually and is a laborious method. Removal of thin testa from kernel is known as what? Okay, so in case of cashew nut, removal of thin testa from kernel is known as what? So option number A says dekerneling. Option number B says peeling. Option number C says shelling. Option number D says drying. And option number E says sweating. So it is something removal of thin tester from kernel, right? So obviously drying will not be the answer. Sweating will not be the answer. We might be confused in this tree, right? Now there is no such thing as dekerneling. There is no such thing as dekerneling. So option number A is also eliminated. Now then we have B and C, peeling and shelling. Now, shelling is a term that you have always heard related to cashew, isn't it? But shelling is the removal of kernel. Shelling is the removal of kernel, right? We'll remove the kernel from the nuts in case of, uh, sorry, I'm very sorry, removal of the hard cover of the kernel, right? Removal of the hard cover of the kernel is your shelling. But then it is given thin testa. You see, thin, right? It's not the hard cover or the hard testa. It is the thin testa. So this is known as peeling. Okay, this is known as peeling. If you did not know before, write it down or note it down somewhere. So option number B is the correct answer. It is not shelling, it is peeling. Okay, removal of thin testa from the kernel is known as peeling, and shelling is the hard cover, hard outer protective cover of the nut, that is known as shelling. So therefore the answer to this question is peeling. Right, next question number 4. Which of the following is the correct reason for sweating nuts after processing? So again, sweating is a post-harvest technology associated with cashew. So which of these is the correct objective for sweating? Nuts keep well at 80 to 90% relative humidity, therefore needs sweating. Option number B says nuts are susceptible to attack by fungus, therefore sweating is practiced. Option number C says nuts are exposed to sweating to maintain their weight as per grades for marketing. Or option number D says sweating is done to prevent breakage of brittle nut during marketing and transport. So option number D is the correct answer to this question. Okay, so this post harvest technology sweating is associated with this particular thing. Okay, because after drying the nuts become very brittle, okay, and they break, and these broken nuts do not fetch much market price. So therefore sweating is done, okay, that is the nuts are allowed to absorb moisture, okay, by exposing them to high relative humidity like 80 to 90%, so that they will not break down during marketing or transport. So that is the main objective of sweating. The last question from this passage, what is the appropriate shilling percentage of cashew? And this is a very simple question. Everybody knows this, right? So answer to this question is option number C. Option number C, 15 to 30%. That is the answer to this question. Okay. Right. Let's move to the second paragraph now. So what does it says? Considering the growing domestic demand for edible oil and the staggering deficiency and cost to the exchequer on the account of import, the urgency of scaling up oil palm area is of national interest. So we are talking here about oil palm, right? National Mission on Edible Oil, oil palm, is approved with the aim to enhance the edible oil availability in the country by harnessing oil palm expansion area, increasing CPO production, and to reduce the import burden on edible oil. So roughly we can say from this only that either the questions will be related to National Mission on Edible Oil or it will be related to oil palm. So let's check with the questions then. So the first question says oil palm has unbranched stout tree. It grows to a height of 15 to 30 meters. It depends on variety and the height depends on variety and environmental conditions. Ground contains 30 leaves of fronds, and palm has strong root system to withstand strong cyclones and hailstorms. So, which of the following is false regarding the botany of oil palm? Okay, we'll have to see the untrue or the wrong one with respect to oil palm botany. Okay, first one it says that the inflorescence is spadix and axillary. Option number B, male and female flowers are separate but present on the same plant. Option number C, oil palm is self-pollinated crop. Option number D, female flowers emit pleasant fragrance which attract insects. And option number E says that the fruit is a sessile drupe. Now here also, if you do not exactly know the answer, how you can answer the question? You see, first thing, just let's assume you do not know anything about oil palm. Okay, whatever is mentioned here. How you can eliminate? You see option number C and D. Option number C says oil palm is a self-pollinated plant. And option number D says that female flowers emit pleasant fragrance which attract insects. So if you see this option, attract insects, it is related to what? Cross-pollination, isn't it? And it is given that oil palm is a self-pollinated plant. So that means these two statements are contrasting, isn't it? Again, if you see option number B, male and female flowers are separate but present on the same plant. So if this kind of thing happens, it is the mechanism for promoting what? Cross pollination. So three statements are what? Contradicting, isn't it? Option number B is contradicting with option number C, and C is contradicting with D. So definitely C will be the wrong one. Why? Because B and D are indicating cross pollination, isn't it? So the correct answer to this question is option number C. Okay. Why option number C? Because oil palm is cross pollinated crop and not self pollinated crop, right? Okay. Let's move to question number 2 then. Production of fruit bunches start at the age of X years and peak bearing is observed when attained at Y years of age. Okay. It will continue bearing up to P years or more and the fertility period is up to Y years. The palm lives for about 100 years. So you'll have to identify Y and P respectively. That means Y means when the palm will attain peak bearing, and P means the bearing continues up to how many years? Whether it's 4 and 40, whether it's 8 and 40, whether it's 2 and 30, whether it's 10, 50 or 10, 40. So correct answer to this question is option number B. Okay. The full bearing or the peak bearing, it is from the age of 8 years and the palm will continue bearing up to 40 years. Okay. And another thing is what? This one, that is the fertility period up to 60 years. Okay, fertility period is up to 60 years, and the production of fruit branches starts from the age of 3 to 4 years. Okay, 3 to 4 years. Or sometimes in certain books, it may be 5 years also. Right? Okay, let's move to question number 3 then. Edobius camerunicus is associated with oil palm. What is it? Botanical name of oil palm or African oil palm botanical variety or major insect pest of oil palm or major disease causing pathogen in oil palm or the major pollinator. So the answer to this question is option number E. That is, it is the major or pollinator of oil palm. Okay, Edobius camerunicus is the major pollinator of oil palm. Now you need to answer me, what is the botanical name of oil palm? What is the botanical name of oil palm? Okay, do answer this question. What is the botanical name of oil palm? Let's move to question number 4 then. Government announces viability gap funding for which product of oil palm? Whether it's flowers, whether it's seed, whether it's kernel, whether it's fruits or edible oil. So the answer to this question is Option number D, that is fruits, isn't it? Government announces viability gap funding for what? Fresh fruit bunches. For the fresh fruit bunches of oil palm, right? Fresh fruit bunches of oil palm. So therefore, it is fruits, option number D. Okay. I hope this passage is also clear for you. Let's move to the third one. Losses occurred after harvesting is known as post-harvest losses. So roughly you can say that we are talking here about, in this passage, we will be talking about post-harvest losses, right? So minimizing these losses can increase their supply without bringing additional land under cultivation. So let's discuss the questions which are given in here. So first question, which of the following is not a major cause of post-harvest losses in fruits and vegetables? So option number A is developmental stages such as sprouting, rooting, seed germination lead to deterioration in quality and nutritional value. Option number B, high post-harvest losses are caused by the invasion of microorganisms. Option number C, the natural processes of respiration is responsible for deterioration. Option number D, poor packaging, unsuitable containers, improper packaging and transportation leads to post-harvest losses. Or option number E, none of the above. So you need to answer which is not a major cause. So answer to this question will be option number E, none of the above, because all of these are the major causes of deterioration or post-harvest losses. Coming to question number 2, it is used as a protective coating, okay, for fruits and vegetables, help in reduction in loss of moisture and rate of respiration, and ultimately results in prolonged storage life. So which post-harvest technology is being referred to here? Whether it's pulsing, whether it's pre-cooling, whether it's blanching, whether it's waxing or scalding. So answer to this question is waxing. Okay. Answer to this question is waxing. So why waxing? So why waxing? Because it is given that there is a protective coating, isn't it? It is given that there is a protective coating which will result in reduction of losses in moisture, rate of respiration, and ultimately it will prolong the storage life. None of this provides a coating. Okay. Pulsing also, it's a short time treatment to reduce the field heat. Pre-cooling is also not. Blanching is also not. And scalding is another term for blanching only. Okay. Scalding is another term for blanching. So the protective cover is only given in case of waxing. Therefore, this is the correct answer. Then question number 3, it is based on the principle of maintaining an artificial atmosphere in storage room, which has higher concentration of carbon dioxide, lower concentration of oxygen than the normal atmosphere. This reduces the rate of respiration and thus delays aging. This method of storage is very effective when combined with low temperature storage. So which of these is being described here? Okay. Option number A is Pusa bean, option number B cap, option number C map, option number D cold storage, option number E is covered and plinth. So this will not be a confusion for you. You will be confused in only whether it's cap or whether it's map, right? The answer to this question is option number B, that is controlled atmosphere packaging. Now, why it is controlled atmosphere packaging? Because you see it is given maintaining an artificial atmosphere in a storage room, right? So we are deliberately maintaining it. That means we are deliberately controlling it, right? So since we are deliberately controlling it, so therefore it's a controlled atmospheric packaging. If it would have been written that the atmosphere changes because of the respiration activity of the produce, respiratory activity of the produce, then it would have been modified atmospheric packaging, right? That the atmosphere, in case of modified atmospheric packaging, what happens that the produce itself, because of the as a result of the respiration of the produce, the atmosphere inside the packaging changes. Okay. So, but here we are artificially or deliberately maintaining that artificial atmosphere of high concentration of carbon dioxide, low concentration of oxygen. So, therefore, the answer to this question is controlled atmospheric packaging. Now, next, which of the following is the most widely used chemical for lye peeling? Whether it's sulfuric acid, whether it's benzoic acid, whether it's caustic soda, or whether it's hydrochloride or potassium permanganate. So the answer to this question is caustic soda, option number C. Okay, for lye peeling, we use caustic soda. Benzoic acid and is mainly used as a preservative, and this potassium permanganate is the ethylene absorber, right? Okay, so that's all for today. I hope you liked this session. I hope you've learned something new. Okay. We have learned some new technical terms also. So I hope this session helps you. Thank you so much.